Welcome back, sports fans. Here we go, another video. Today we are going to cover off, we've done 100 and 200 variants, so we're just going to look at 400 variants. Longer race, so hopefully we can get through the content as quickly as possible. But we are looking at what is the baseline time. We'll probably do 3 quick runs and see what the variance is. And then we'll also see if the dip makes any difference. But so first one we're doing here, we're just going to let it run round. We've done this with 100 and 200. This will probably be 50 seconds per race. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get through these pretty quickly. We know there is race variance. We've shown it in the 100 and 200. What we want to be able to see is what is the race variance at 400. I think we had it's something like 0.016 as the variance in 1 and 200. So the thing we're really interested in today is that variance the exact same in all sprinting events? And then we'll see a different variance in middle distance, different variance in long distance. When I do the long distance, I will probably pre-record, hopefully play it back at a quicker rate, and then we can get through the content. So 53.245. There we go. Let me just make a note of that one. So 53.245. Sorry, that's probably really quiet for you there. Let's just add that onto here. Let's change back into 400. 53.245. There we go. So we've got a baseline. Let's see if we get the exact same again. I'm hoping we get the variance pretty quickly. Sometimes, we showed it on the 100 meters where it took probably about 4 runs to really get what that variance was, and then we discovered there was variance up and down. So within 100, it seemed to be that there were 3 different sort of baselines you could have, and that's going to obviously then determine if you're ever going to hit your PB, because if you've got one of those the higher time base rates, then you're always going to struggle to hit your PB, and that's why sometimes PBs can come out of nowhere. So let's just see how we go. We know it was 53.245. We're going around probably about 150 to go, and then we're into the 100. So let's see what we're going to get. And we can obviously show that by doing it well, if you look at my PB, it's roughly 10 seconds. 53.212. Okay, slightly bigger variance on this one. So 53.212. So a 0.33 variance there. Let's do one more, just so we can really see what's what. Here we go. So let's do the third one, and then what we're going to do is, we have proven. Have we proven beyond doubt? Probably not, but we have proven that the dip itself where you dip actually really doesn't make too much difference as long as you are dipping. So let's see on here, if we really wanted to go in depth on this, is it that you run quicker in different lanes? Possibly. We're in lane 2 here. We were in lane, was it 7 in the last one? I've completely forgotten. 7 or 8, I'm pretty sure we're in. Now, is it that when you're in lanes 3, 4, 5 and 6 that you run quicker, i.e. if you think about in normal sprinting, 3, 4, 5, 6 is reserved for the quicker times in qualifying, when if you think about an Olympics or anything. So let's see what we get here. I'm going to say this is going to be the slower time, and maybe we do have a lane bias, maybe we don't. I think to determine a lane bias, we'd have to do probably multiple of these to see. 53.262. So now we've got a third time. So are we seeing the 3 different times in the first attempt at doing this? So that's a +2, 1, 3, +3, 3. So there's no consistency there whatsoever. We're going to have to run a 4th just to see if we can get a standard variance versus a assumed variance that we're going. But obviously what we are showing straight away, and I wasn't necessarily expecting this, is actually the 400 meters has got a varied base rate, and yeah, depending on which one, it's really going to depend on your times, and I think that's sometimes reflective that you can maybe do 7 perfects, miss one out, and sometimes it gets you a PB, and sometimes you're slower than your original time. I think we would normally put that down to where you hit on the perfects. Are you really slap bang in the middle of them? Are they what I would call perfects? So if you get obviously the full bar on that green tap and hold, let's just say that gives you 100 boost. If you're a tiny bit short, that might be 95, it might be 94, and these are the bits you don't get to see. These are the underlying mechanics. So all you get told is this is a perfect, for example. There probably is such thing as a terrible, which is what we're demonstrating here. So again, right, we're in lane 7. Let's see what time we get here. Interesting, 53.212. I want to do one more, and I know I said I'd only do 3 odd, but I just want to do one more. I want to see what lane we get in the next one, because that's quite consistent out of that lane 7. So okay, what 2, 4, 5th lane this time. So the order you are in that list is the lane number you're given. So you can tell before it loads up whether you're going to be in which lane you're going to be in. Now, if anything, this should be the quickest time because it's in one of the prime lanes. But we have sort of shown that the further out you are, the better times you're running. So let's see. As I said, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're the prime lanes. 4 and 5, the real prime lanes. So if it is based on lane draw, this should be the quickest out of all of them. We saw that lane 7 was giving us a 2-1-2. So let's just see how this one goes. And this will answer a lot of people's questions of, I've run it perfect, yet I didn't get a PB. I've run, and your PB previously might have been run perfect as well. 2, 4, 5. Interesting. Okay. Just 0.17 over 3, 4. Okay. So we've shown here. We've got 3 times. We've got 53.245, 53.212, and we've got 53.262. Now, if this gives the same benefit of a 0.1617 benefit for dipping, then we should be able to figure out roughly what is our base level time for that race. So going out of lane 5 again, part of me wants to go, how long have we been going for? We've been going for 8 minutes. I'm actually going to let this one run. I want to see if lane 5 twice in a row gives 2 different times. Are we able to sit there and go, actually the further out your lane is, so i.e. in lane 7 and 8 it's the quickest times versus any of the others? Because I think if this is another 2, 4, 5, then there might be some theory behind that. It's a very small testing sample, so we are making massive assumptions off here. You would have to run the data off, 100 races to be able to sort of accurately say this lane gives this time. But I was going to dip on this one. We'll dip on the next one. I just want to see what the time is on the basis it's the same lane back to back. So here we go. 262. So we've proven there that lane draw is therefore not an option. That is the slower time you can get, the 262 versus a 245 previously. So yeah, we've shown that lane draw it's not a consistent for lane draw, so that's good. We've found that. Let's just do one more now, and this is where we're going to do the dip. We just want to be able to see where are we going to be. There are 3 possible times. There is a variance of lowest to highest of 0.05, which, for example, for myself, on a PB of 43,780, well, that becomes 43,830 if that was done on the lowest. So we can see how we can get those gains, even though we might not be improving cards and all of that. And I think we've all seen that you know, we can all of a sudden get a PB when we haven't improved anything. So we are proving that the underlying data has a variance of 0.05 in 400 meters. That's a bigger variance than we saw in 100 and 200. So that goes to show that the longer the race, the variance gets bigger. We are going to dip for this one. So let's just wait and see what's going on. I think we probably only need to do one round with a dip. It should hopefully show us where we're at. Okay, here we come. We're coming to the line. We're going to do the dip. And we'll dip. Well, that came in as a 53.245. Now, that could very easily, that's 0.17, which we know 0.17 is the dip variance on 100 and 200. That suggested that was a 53.262. And I know I said that was the last one. We are going to do one more. Very conscious that I don't want to do the longest video in the world. So let's just do one more. This one we're going to dip. Because if we get the 0.245 or 0.212, neither of those two should come in at that time of a dip. It's only the 262 time with the dip that comes to 245. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Hopefully you're with me on my method that I'm working on. We're working on a 0.17 dip factor, rightly or wrongly, whether that's the case. So let's go through. We're running this one. We're going to do the dip. I'm hoping this isn't a 262 time, because we'll just get 245 again. Or alternatively, are we proving that the dip has zero effect? Which I don't believe, based on what we've seen on 1 and 200 meters. So hopefully, as I said, I'm hoping we're going to get the 245 or 212 baseline times. And this dip should take us lower. If we get the 53.212, it will take us below. It will be 53.1. And we're going to dip. Okay, so again, that's hard to prove which one we had. Do we do one more? Again, conscious of time. Go on, we can do one more. If you're still with me, thanks for sticking by. And it's actually given us the 400 meters. So let's just run that. And it's only as 1 star per race. It's not really accelerating our progress, but it's, you know, we're getting there. So I want to run this one last one, because if this comes in at 245 again, then that would suggest that the dip is not working. So let's see how we do. It's good to know the mechanics, the underlying stats can help take the frustration out of the game. You know, we had it in the Nations Cup where people have got, I did 4 perfects, and therefore why is my distance different? Why is my time different? We know that that's down to how you know, where you are in that blue line, for example, on here. So if, here we go. So that green bit there, if we hit the dead center of that, that's how people are getting better times, better distances than when we feel like we've done the perfects, because we've got 4 perfects. So we're going to dip for the line again. Here we go. This is the last run we're doing. And we've hit 245. That really does suggest that the dip doesn't really make much difference in 400 meters. What we have proven today, we haven't proven that that's the case, because it could very easily be we've just done 3 races and they're all 53.262s. So I would always say definitely dip. But we've shown there's a good baseline there. 0.05 variance in 400 meters. That's proven. We've shown that on the video today. Hopefully that takes away a bit of the mystery sometimes of why you can do things and that you get inconsistencies in times, etc. I'm going to expect that when we get to the 800, 1500 and further, those variances will get bigger and bigger. We know that the marathon definitely has quite a big variance. So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it gives you a bit more understanding of the underlying mechanics of how times are set. We've done all the sprint races. Next up's going to be medium distance. Like, share, subscribe. Stick a comment in. You know, is there anything on there that you found out which is helpful? But that's it for today. So I will see you on the next video. and yeah, we'll be trying the medium distance races. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.